Okay, good morning and welcome to our live Q&A session about studying maths and English from Walsall College. We'll look at the importance of having the right level of maths and English qualifications to help you progress onto the next stage of learning or into the job you want. I'm Russell and today I'm joined by our four expert panellists. Harry, hello Harry.
Hi.
Harry's one of our English functional skills lecturers here at Walsall College. And Howard, hello Howard.
Hi there.
Howard's one of our maths functional skills lecturers. And we also have Claire. Hello, Claire.
Hi.
Claire's one of our GCSEs team, and we'll be talking about English and maths GCSEs that you can study with us. We also have Mel. Hello, Mel.
Hiya.
So Mel's one of our careers guidance officers that can help you with all the support that we have for you here at the college as well. So with us, you can study anything from full-time courses, apprenticeships, part-time or evening courses, right from entry level up into a number of cases full degree level courses. We have a huge range of courses, so lots of different subject areas and different ways to study, ranging from coming into the college or in the workplace or online as well. It's well known that English and maths skills are essential building blocks for any career and play an important role in helping people both find and sustain jobs and employment. Students may want to study English and maths with us alongside other courses or a standalone course. During this session, we'll discuss what's the most appropriate course depending on your situation and what you want to achieve. So without any further ado, let's talk English and maths. And to start with, we can run through the difference between functional skills and GCSEs and who they are for. So Harry, if you can give us an overview of functional skills, why we need English and maths skills, and why employers and universities are asking for them.
Okay, functional skills are basic practical skills required in everyday life. They work successfully because you can apply those core skills in real life situations. So those subjects being English, maths and IT. And a lot of employers like functional skills because they are practical. They are practical in life sense, and also they can be applied at work as well. So they're authentic, they're current, and they're easy to fit in with life work as well. So and it's about problem solving. It's things that you do on a day-to-day basis. For example, you could be writing letters, you could be writing articles, it could be an email, which I'm sure many of you do email regularly, whether it's a complaint letter, whether you are responding to a lecturer. So these are vital skills that you're using. So you've got your English embedded there. You've also got your IT, and there could be some maths problems in there as well. Maybe there's a problem with the bill or something, you know. So these are functional aspect skills that you can certainly use in day-to-day every life, and they are very conducive for everyday life, and you can't go wrong with using these skills for the rest of your life, and they're ready to use on the go. They are also good in terms of you can work from entry level all the way to level 2, and this can also take you to university as well. So functional skills is up there with the GCSEs as well. Yeah, covers a vast range.
Okay, so moving on to you, Claire. From what Harry said about functional skills, we all know what GCSEs are, but what does the college offer and who are they for?
Okay, so hi everyone. Yeah, so in terms of GCSE, then we offer 16 to 18 young people, but to sit at GCSE at college, if you're that age, then you need to be on a full-time programme. So then for adult provision, across different campuses, we offer daytime and evening provision, so we have flexibility, 3 hours a week presently, and every week from September till June. So it is effectively a resit year, because GCSE normally is 2 years and it is 1 year. So you do need to think about that when you're applying. Remember that it is kind of a fast track. And you need to think about, as Harry said, about functional skills as well, what it is you really need in order to get onto your next step. So it's worth doing a bit of research. You know, do you need functional skills or do you need GCSE? Because they are very different. And there's components in GCSE that don't apply to everyday life. And those are the bits that if you're not prepared or you haven't done that prior learning, students young and 16 to 18 and adult students find very difficult. So it's worth checking with your employer, maybe checking with university, checking you know, what it is. Do you really need GCSE, or do you need functional skills? As an adult, some adults do GCSE alongside an access programme at college or a teacher training programme. So you can study alongside, you know, if you need your GCSE and doing your vocational programme. A lot of students do that. But like I say, it's worthwhile checking what it is, really having a good think about. Do I need this? What do I need to do in order to get my next step?
Yeah, so I guess it's worth just establishing with the next step that you're going to make. It will be employment or on to the next level of education. Establishing, is it functional skills or is it GCSEs that you need?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the other one I think perhaps I haven't covered yet is ESOL. Harry, can you explain what ESOL courses are and who they are for?
Okay, ESOL is English for speakers of other languages. So somebody who might have come in and has no or very little English, they can obviously be referred to ESOL. Now, ESOL program is heavily based on verbs, verb agreement, vocabulary, grammar, and it's correcting that main aspect of the English. So they really develop the speaking and listening skill for students. And it's very practical in terms of, you know, you put in groups and you develop and talk about a range of topics, again, day-to-day life activities possibly as well, maybe going to the doctors, asking for information or, you know, inquiry that you may have. So they put it into a real life context again, and that's where you're able to actually practice those. Whereas with English itself, it's heavily based on the reading aspect and the writing aspect, and of course there is communication too. With the communication, you might be having group discussions, you might have to do some live presentations in front of an audience, but like I said, there's a lot of core in-depth reading knowledge, reading between the lines, recognising language features, and then you've got the aspect of the writing where you might have to use persuasive text and stuff, to, you know, depending on what you're writing on. So that's the two difference between ESOL and English. So in order to do ESOL, if you want, you would start from the basics, of course, and then you can develop into functional skills or English program, whichever you choose, all being well, depending on what degree of level you're working at.
I think Claire touched on where you can study them, not physically, where you can study them. But how about functional skills and ESOL as well? Where can you study these courses? Can you study them online? And is there community centres that you can go and study closer to your home?
Well, we've got various campuses. We've got Wisemore, of course, we've got Whitehall, we've got Horbush as well. So some of the functional skills are delivered across all campuses, really. So you can, and with ESOL, they're all based, some of them based in the community as well. So it's integrating the community that are outside and getting them to localise and start, you know, learning ESOL or even English courses, so that they are quite adaptable. So it's a matter of applying and, you know, through online, of course, and then finding what is suitable. You will be interviewed, of course, you'll be assessed, and then it will be taken from there as to what level you'll be going on to and what is suitable for you, really, which campus. In terms of online, this might be something that we might be looking at in the future. At this moment in time, you know, we haven't got anything online as such, but there's always, like BBC Skills-wise, you know, websites that you could certainly go on to if you want to brush up and touch on it, find out what ESOL is about, or even English for that matter. But this is a place to see, so I'm sure there'll be something in the future. Yeah,
and I mean, on our website, if you do search for those courses, there's a list of locations that you can study these courses, and information about where those campuses are around Walsall, and how to contact us. Howard, just moving on to you, can you tell us a bit more about the levels and who should study them, and what level you need to get to satisfy universities and employers?
Yes, certainly. I mean, Walsall's an excellent college in respect that functional skills really starts from what we call entry 1. I mean, it's entry 1, then we have entry 2 and entry 3. Then level 1 is equivalent to a GCSE fail, and level 2 is the same as a GCSE. But we want to engage with learners and make it a fun learning experience. So we actually do start at pre-entry, both for English and maths. So if anybody has a real lack of knowledge relating to maths principles or basic number work, then we're happy to take them on board, and we'll put them through a programme of activity in order to engage with them. As far as levels are concerned, I don't want students to get too concerned about the levels, because anybody enrolling onto a maths and or English programme, we all carry out a detailed assessment. It usually consists of 2 parts, online assessment and a paper-based assessment. As far as the assessments are concerned, that will determine a person's level of ability, because we don't want students to go onto a course that's too difficult for them. We don't want to set them up to fail. So we've got an excellent programme of activity. And for fast tracking, well, our entry level programmes, we look at levels of ability. We all put students in for exams before the end of the course if we feel that they're capable of achieving that.
That's great. Actually, that seems quite a good time to ask you, maybe ask you, Howard, we've had a question from someone in the Facebook feed. It says, from Robin, says, I have very poor grades in both English and maths and need a lot of help when it comes with maths when applying for jobs. They say, due to my grades, that's why I'm not getting the jobs. She's asking, would you recommend functional skills or GCSE maths and English?
Okay, Robin, thank you for the inquiry. I think the best thing to do is have an assessment carried out, and we'll see what level you're at. If you're at a higher level, say you're working towards level 2, you're sort of certainly at level 1, then we may refer you to the GCSE team. It depends on what you want to do career-wise as to whether you feel that you need GCSEs in order to gain the career that you want to, or if you want to go into university. But we'd look at that step by step.
Okay, great. I think so. We kind of discussed the opportunities to fast track on qualifications. But how does that apply in functional skills?
Well, as far as fast track's concerned, we have the ability to fast track learners at entry level. So from pre-entry to entry 3, then we have the opportunity whereby over an 18-week programme, about week 12, we could put students in for an exam. So we're constantly looking at their abilities, how they answer questions. We'll give them material work to work towards and see if they're answering them quite competently. Level 1 and level 2 is a bit more of a detailed programme, certainly from September last year, because the curriculum increased considerably. So again, we don't want students to be set up to fail. And certainly at level 1, we want to make sure that they're capable. So what we have designed for this coming year, from September onwards, we're combining our level 1 course with a bridging course. And that'll enable students to get a bit more of a grounding with the basic maths principles, so that they can understand the questions, because a lot of it relates to problem solving, and you may be using different maths principles in order to solve one problem. For example, you might be using multiplication and division and then working out a percentage or something like that. So,
okay, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, Howard, but Robin's called back, come back and said the qualification she was relating to, she wants to start her own dog walking business. So she was wondering sort of what kind of if it's functional skills or GCSEs that she needed. What would you say?
Well, I'm a functional skills lecturer, so I'm going to be biased anyway and promote functional skills. But in real life, if it's running a business, then we're looking at accountancy principles. So it'll be basic usable maths required, rather than having to learn processes like trigonometry or differentiation, things like that. So yeah, I think it will be more functional skills than GCSEs.
I'd have to agree with you, Howard, there, and especially with the functional skills. We do cover articles, we get advertisements as well. There'll be persuasive language that will be required as well, which is functional too. And if she wants to get Robin wants to get the business going, maybe that might be ideal. And we're here to help you, and it's working in groups and stuff, so we can build your confidence with that. So I'm going to be biased and say functional skills too.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean,
Okay.
If Robin, if you were thinking of maybe going to study veterinary nursing or going to high-level courses, then you might consider GCSE. But if it's more kind of maths for your own benefit, in order to manage your own business and your daily life, then and you can always do GCSE after functional anyway, if you really wanted to.
So come along, Robin, and come and chat to us regarding your requirements, and we'll see what we can do for you. And good luck.
I'm after a dog walker as well, so if anyone that takes off. Another message actually from Gracie. She says, I failed GCSE maths at school in sixth form. I did functional skills, passed level 1 maths, failed level 2 maths, but then got a grade E in college. Can there still sit maths level 2 functional skills as I'm in full-time work now? Could I do it on a part-time basis?
As far as that's concerned, Gracie, yeah, I mean, we actually run evening classes, usually on the Tuesday evening for a 3-hour session, 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock. So we'd look at your level 1 skills. Let's probably put you through for an assessment level 1 to see what your abilities are. We don't want to just focus on the negative side, but see what support that we can provide you in order to get you that level 2 qualification.
Yeah, and there are different times of studying as well, isn't there? So she can.
There are. We do have daytime provision. It just depends on your working hours, basically. But if you're working, say, standard 9 to 5, then we can accommodate you in the evening.
In the evening as well, yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay, Mel, just turning to you now. I suspect quite a few people might be watching this thinking, if the course they're doing requires them to study English and maths, and is it the right course for them? How can we help? What sort of careers guidance support have we got?
Yeah, so we are currently a team of 5 careers officers, all level 6 qualified, and we will help and support current and prospective students throughout the whole year. And even now, we're still supporting students via email. We get loads of emails from students. We have mobile phones, so students can call us, and all the information is on our website. But we're also using different platforms such as Google Hangouts, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, WhatsApp, video, WhatsApp. So there are different platforms that students can contact us during this time. And using those platforms, students can have a one-to-one appointment. If it's just to have a quick chat about their student finance, because student finance is open. So we're supporting students with that at the moment. And we've got loads of queries about that. We also send out job alerts to students even now, because there's quite a lot of jobs in retail that are advertised at the moment. So we will send out jobs to part-time opportunities to students for them to still apply, and this will continue on till September, where we when it's safe to go back, we will have a drop-in service, careers drop-in service, where students come and speak to an advisor, and we will support students with developing their employability skills. So we'll be doing a lot of things come September onwards when it's safe to do so, and we'll still do group sessions like we do CV sessions, and we'll do talks on university, alternative options to university. So there's quite a lot of support that students will get when they're at Walsall College.
Okay. Just a question to all our lecturers here. It's more about people who have already applied, and people might be thinking about it before they apply as well. Is there anything applications can do now whilst they're maybe at home to prepare for their courses? They'll have quite a bit of time before September starts. Any research they can do, or skills they can start building up? Claire, can you help with that?
Yep, yeah, no, absolutely. And in fact, that's really important, because what we don't want to do is you come for interview and assessment and then feel overwhelmed, you feel knock your confidence. So it really is important that you do a bit of preparation prior to that assessment. But particularly with English GCSE, students tend to be better at non-fiction, because that's something that we do all our lives. We read articles, we read the newspaper, we watch the news. But half of GCSE is fiction. So it's creative writing and story writing and reading novels. So it's a good idea that if you haven't done that for a long time, to go to the library, get a novel, or maybe get on your Kindle, or read, do some reading. Reading is the most important thing, but reading a variety. So maybe, an autobiography, if you're, somebody that you're interested in. It doesn't have to be, a 600-page novel. Find something that you're interested in reading about. But that I would really, really recommend that. And also go on YouTube, go on the internet and just Google AQA English language, sorry, I'll say that again because I might rush through that. So it's AQA is the awarding body. If anybody does want to do any research into the kind of the papers or look at any of the questions. And there's lots of YouTube clips on YouTube, tutorials. But I say the most important thing is reading, particularly fiction reading.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I guess that does that apply to functional skills as well. How
It does. The awarding body that we work with is City and Girls, and like Howard said earlier, we cover from entry level all the way to level 1 and level 2. Even if you go on, City and Girls site, there are some sample papers that you can come across, so you get your head around what's expected. Again, preparation is key, like Claire said earlier. Brush up on your spellings, your punctuation. And obviously your mindset around the imagination that you might have to use in terms of what the question might be asking you to do. And I know it's nervous. I know everyone gets nervous and it is rather daunting. But if you start preparing and get your way into that, start practice writing, you'll be fine. And remember, you must have plenty of time, available when you're doing these assessments, because the assessment results are important, because that will determine which class and level you'll be going to. And like Claire said as well earlier, reading is also important, because you'll be reading pieces of text. It's important that you're comprehending what you're reading to be able to answer the question efficiently.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's something I'd want to stress as well, as far as the initial assessments are concerned. It can be quite daunting coming into a very busy college, and then you've got the enrolment process to go through. And a lot of our students feel, I've been here ages, I'll rush the assessment. And I think that's the worst thing to do, because we've got to measure a person's level of ability. And if they rush the assessment and get a lot of questions wrong, then we're going to be saying, perhaps that they're entry 2, whereas in real life they're entry 3, but they didn't take their time. So as Claire and Harry said, do a bit of research beforehand, brush up on those skills, but essentially take your time with the assessment, make sure you get the assessment completed.
Okay, great. Just got another question that's come in, so veering away a bit from it. I'm looking to going into childcare and get my level 3 qualification in that specific career area. Would you suggest to me to still have a GCSE in maths alongside level 2 functional skills? Who's the best to answer?
Well, if you're saying a level 2 in maths alongside a GCSE, was that the question?
No, sorry, she's going into childcare and get my level 3 in childcare. Sorry. Would you suggest for me to still have GCSE in maths alongside level 2 functional skills?
I think that depends on the ultimate career that the applicant wants. If it's teaching assistant, teacher, then I think she would need GCSE. I believe so. I think teaching assistants now, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but I think so. I think it depends on what role and what career is after free childcare.
As far as teaching assistants are concerned, in a previous college I worked for, Birmingham Education Authority did allow level 2 qualifications. Right. Because I put a lot of adults through what they call the HLTA award, which is High Level Teaching Assistants Award. So they did accept level 2. I think industry and the government are certainly understanding that level 2 is the equivalent to GCSE. But I think if somebody wants to progress to university with their childcare qualifications, then perhaps some universities are still insisting on GCSE qualifications. So it's a bit of a tough question to answer, really. It just depends on that person's career goal. But the two are pretty much the same as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, because I know we are offering the childcare and education T level this year, and so some of the progression opportunities beyond that are you could be a head teacher or the assistant head in a school. So potentially that might mean that you probably want to do GCSEs alongside that. Would you say?
I would say so. If you're going into education, then I'd most probably look at higher grounding in skills, and certainly GCSE covers a lot more than functional skills does. I mean, the actual word functional, I mean, the government basically put a programme of activity together made it free for both adults and 16 to 18-year-olds because they wanted people to work effectively in education, work and in everyday life. So it's those functions that are covered within the curriculum. GCSEs, there are areas within the GCSE that you may never use in real life, but they're still excellent maths principles.
Can I just
I think we sorry.
I was going to say that if Gracie wanted to discuss this some more, you know, she can speak to one of the careers officers to look at what our actual options are. Once she has a level 3, is she looking at university? Then we can support her in that. So I'll definitely say if she wants some advice, then definitely contact the guidance team at Walsall College, definitely.
That's great, thank you, Matt. And I think the important message is to just apply for the courses now. Go on our website and apply, and then we'll obviously be in touch with you as soon as we possibly can in order to arrange for you to come in the college. That's probably not possible at the moment, but it will mean that your application is in, and we can start establishing what your interests are and what your progression routes are and help you. So yeah, please do go onto the website and apply as soon as you possibly can. Are there any other points our panelists would just like to share? Anything we might have missed before we go?
I'd like to say something. As part of working as part of the functional team, we've had a lot of students over the number of years that might have started from ESOL, progressed into functional skills from entry level, and they've gone on to get up to level 2, and they've actually successfully gone on to university. So you know, if you're passionate about something, you've got a career you want to do, don't hold bar. Just go with your flow and come and see us, speak to the lecturers, whether it's GCSE department, whether it's functional skills. We are here to help you and find out what we're really about, because we've had a lot of success stories while being at Walsall College, and I could greatly kind of, you know, sing at the top of rooftops really for that. So come and have a chat with us.
That's great. Okay, so just before we finish off, if you do have any more questions you'd like to ask us. Oh, sorry, we just got another question actually. Just Jay says, do you need GCSE language or literature for most degrees?
It's language, isn't it?
Language.
Yeah, language.
Yeah, language. So that's language is always the most important one. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, bear in mind, if you're completing a dissertation, then the awarding body, as well as the doctors, professors, or whatever, they're going to be looking at your language skills when you're writing your dissertation. So I would say that was more important than certainly literature, which is just looking at a piece of Shakespeare or pieces of work and dissecting it, basically.
Okay, great. So if you do have any more questions you'd like to ask us, we've had quite a few come in during this Facebook live session. Just do pop them in the comments or a direct message to us on Facebook, and we'll get back to you or forward it on to one of our tutors that have joined us here today, or email us at info@walsallcollege.ac.uk, and we'll get back to you as well. So yeah, and just to reiterate, to let you know, if you have applied, we will have received your application, and we'll be contacting you as soon as we're able to do so, to invite you in and tell you about your next steps. This does, however, depend on the arrangements that we're currently making. But please do rest assured that we will have got your application if you receive the automated email afterwards, after you applied. But the most important thing to do is to apply for the course now. Make sure that you've done you've applied for your course. Please make sure you've done plenty of research around the course you wish to study, where it will progress to, an apprenticeship, job, or higher level of study it can lead to. And then, as I said, please just like to say thank you to all our panelists for today's session. We hope you found the session useful. If you didn't manage to answer the question, please, as I say, do message us and we'll get back to you. And we'll look forward to seeing you at our next Facebook Live session. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.